Hey, what's up guys, it's Jake here and this is the first episode of my team in F1 2020. So my team is a new career mode type of new game mode, and this game mode is so good, man. I think Codemasters this year have nailed this game. And in terms of our team, we are going to be hiring the Mercedes engine, and our teammate is going to be Juan Manuel Correa, who's 61 rated. He was kind of the best I could pick with, and our primary sponsor is going to be TriStar, and we are going to be called Sahara Force India. So the theme of my team is for me is going to be bringing back the F1 teams that kind of faded away or kind of morphed into new teams. Sahara Force India is still there in the form of BWT Racing Point. But as an Indian myself who's passionate about F1, I think I'm going to be starting with Sahara Force India team. So we're going to be doing a full 22 seasons, and the difficulty I'm not sure with, so we'll be looking to experiment with that in the coming videos. So here it is, the first interview of our new team.
3.
Hello folks, and welcome to the HQ of Formula One's newest team. We've been invited backstage to gain an exclusive insight into what could be one of the most exciting entries in the sport for many years. Now, we've seen a number of new teams enter the sport over the last decade, amongst their number Manor, Caterham, HRT and of course Haas. And while some have proved to be successful, others have morphed into different teams and some have disappeared completely. What marks this team out, though, as being something different is that its owner is also its driver. Now, there's a rich history of that in Formula One too. Sir Jack Brabham, John Surtees, Graham Hill and Bruce McLaren all drove their own cars in the sport, but it has become increasingly rare in recent years. What's very special about this team, though, is that while the team itself is new to Formula One, so too is its driver and owner.
Whatever happens this season, you've already made the history books. Tell me, do you feel up to the mammoth task of both managing and driving for a Formula One team?
And on the background, you will see 4 or 5 questions, and you'll be seeing me answer them in what seems fit for the team. So you have to choose it carefully, because what you answer is going to be deciding where you get a head start in what department you're going to be starting your team. So as we got a good engine in Mercedes, so it's technically be the fastest, better engine. At Ferrari will get a nerf at some point in this game. So in terms of ourselves, I wanted to really concentrate on the aero department and the chassis department. So my answers will be reflecting that. So Formula 1 games have come a huge bound, man, and I'm really happy with it. Really glad there's so much detail in my team game mode, and I can't wait to show a lot more in future videos. And here it is, the car reveal. And there she is, rocking the number 27, which is my favorite number. And some of the graphics this year are just unbelievably good from Codemaster this year. And let's get the beauty onto the track and see what she can do. So we are jumping straight into the practice session. I was a little disappointed with the practice session because they have been kind of same for the last 2 years. But there are some minor tweaks which really helps you to complete the practice sessions. And these are some of the first laps we are doing in the practice session, and I completed all the practice sessions in it with ease, man. So in terms of the channel, guys, it's going to be a brand new channel, and if you like the content around here, I really appreciate if you drop a like and subscribe to see plenty more videos about F1 and other games. I'll eventually try other games, but at the moment I'm really invested into F1 2020, and I can't wait for to get into the deep dive of this game. So if you are interested in the content, so I'll really be happy if you can subscribe and like this video. Our practice session was good, and I was really impressed with the car performance as well. And in some career modes, if you choose a Renault or Honda engine, you will be a backmarker team. but our team is in really strong contention with midfield, and as you can see, we finished P7 in the practice session, kind of like the best of the rest, but I think our quali and race pace is not good enough, because in the practice I don't show their full peak, and we finished P7. Our teammate wasn't really running the better tires. He only ran on hot tires, so he didn't have a much better time. But I'm really happy with Juan Manuel Correa, and really see who we can improve with this team with in the future season. So as for season 1, Juan Manuel Correa will be my first teammate, and we'll be looking at the second season for other drivers when needs be. So the practice session was good, the pace of the car was really good, we are really in contention with the midfield, and we move into qualifying. So for the qualifying, as we have showed a really good pace in our practice, I went on to try with the medium tires, trying to get a lap in and try to save the soft tires and see where we line up in the team's hierarchy. And we set a really nice time on the mediums. I set a first run, and I went on to improve slightly in the second run. 1 minute 24, kind of flat, 24.1 puts us nicely in the table, but we are just not good enough. As the time went away, the track kind of got faster, and with the other teams improving, we had to go out on run on the soft tires. And in soft tire run, in the final couple of minutes, we improved massively, and we are almost 1 second above the delta, and trying to set a really strong lap here. Looking at the final couple of corners, the pace of this car was really good. I was impressed, despite this is probably the first hour of me playing this game. I was really impressed with what we can do, and we set a 1 minute 22.7, which is a really good time, and as you can see, which puts us in P8. Once again being slightly slower than the better of the top 3 teams, and which really gives us the potential of this car. Unfortunately for our teammate, he got knocked out in P18, and which was a good run from him, but just not good enough. So I was hovering around with the 92, 93 difficulty, and after the first qualifying, I decided to increase it up to legend difficulty, which is 95. My strongest difficulty I raced was around 104, 105. So at the first season, I think we'll be hovering out somewhere around 100, and we'll be looking to go into high difficulties in the future. And in the P2 run, I set a first lap with the banker, the set of used tires, and in the second lap we set a really good time, which puts us P10 on the spot. But as the other teams improved, we got just knocked out by finishing P11. The difference between our time and Esteban's Ocon time was just 0.003 of a second. So, which was really good performance. So we start P11, which is not a bad choice. We get a free choice of tires for finishing P11, and our teammate who's going to be starting in P18. So let's see what we can do in the race.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at Albert Park, home of the Australian Grand Prix since 1996, and home to round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. Its combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners make it a tricky track when it comes to overtakes. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. Can Mercedes start with victory in their bid to win a 7th consecutive Constructors' title? Could Ferrari or Red Bull establish an advantage early on? And with 22 cars on the grid, how quickly can the new team find their footing? Well, it's great to be back, Anthony Davidson. We've got a lot to talk about this year.
That's right, Crofty. It felt like a long winter, but it's good to finally be back. I have to think the usual suspects will battle it out at the front, but there are always going to be some teething problems early on in the season, so whoever can keep on top of their issues will have the advantage today.
As I mentioned earlier, we're up to 11 teams this season, with a new entry run by, well, of all things, an owner-driver. That's something we haven't seen in this sport since Hector Raback over 4 decades ago. So how are they looking so far?
It's hard to imagine how a small operation like that could survive in the ruthless world of Formula One. And yet here they are, first ever race looking surprisingly strong. But there are no points for qualifying. Let's see how they fare in the Grand Prix proper.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Albon, Sainz, Ricciardo, Norris and Esteban Ocon, Day, Gasly, Sergio Perez and Magnussen, Kvyat, Raikkonen, Lance Stroll and Juan Manuel Correa, Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
So alright guys, it's race time, and our strategy, we're going to be starting in the mediums, and if our tire wear is really good, we'll be finishing on the softs. If we struggle for tire wear, we'll be finishing on the medium. So in terms of our race strategy, there wasn't really much option. We'll be doing a 50% race, so 29 laps, and here we go, 5 red lights, and which looks like a really good start from us, and I can already see Bottas made a flying start there. Hamilton really bogged down, and in terms of us, we kind of hold P10, P11 as I should say, behind the both Renault and the McLarens, and kind of holding down Force Indias and Alpha Tauris behind us. So in terms of first lap, we got a decent getaway, but we do get a slightly awkward start here, awkward position on the grass, slightly dipped the wheel there, and Perez really got us, but we had to get this move, because if we didn't, trust me, we are in the medium, so we are going to be really slow in the first couple of laps. The traction is not going to be there out of the corners, and the heat on the tires, the mediums really have a window to get to the optimal performance. We'll be seeing the effects of the tire at the end of lap 9, 10, so that will be really strong, I feel. So that was a very, very decent start for us, holding down P11, not losing any position, and we were the only guy in the field to run with the mediums. The rest of us in top 10 are with softs, and as you can see, the top 10 is kind of pulling away from us, and the guys behind us are really close, and they are in DRS mode as well, and Gasly and Perez were really, really threatening for the entirety of the race. But we did have quite a decent pace in the Mercedes engine. Gasly with the Honda engines was really slow in the straight, so it was quite easy to defend the Gasly. But I kind of made a crucial error here, which really invited Gasly to attack, and with the help of DRS and slipstream, it gets past us, but he kind of just locks his front brakes, which was enough for us to give the place back, and we kind of hold P10 and P11 for a moment, just one position away from the point finishing, and we got promoted to P10 with the Haley McLaren of Carlos Sainz, who's going to be a Ferrari driver real soon, but his season did not do a greatest of start. And as we moved through the laps in the first stint, we got a couple of front runners, the Mercedes and Ferrari pitting, and Valtteri Bottas nearly collided us and collected us into the gravels, ending up both our races, but we do manage to survive that, and which really affected our momentum into turn 3s, and we could have lost a couple of positions, but fortunately for us we didn't, and unfortunately we had to leave Valtteri Bottas go, because he was really affecting our pace that lap, and he was on fresh off, so he's going to be miles quicker than us. So we had to let that go. So our pace was kind of struggling in the mediums. The tire wear was already 50% at the end of lap 10 and 11. Gasly pitted in the previous lap, so we had to cover his undercut. So I decided we are going for the hards for the last of 18 or 19 laps. So we decided to pit for the hards, and Gasly was putting an immense outlap. As you can see on the top right corner, he was nailing down some of the sectors. And remember guys, this is all for P10, for 1 point in this race. And our boys did pull a really good stop of 2.2 seconds. And Gasly was on a really good lap, was just behind us and just couldn't get past us. So that was a really good stop from the boys. And we move on in the race. And Perez was interestingly on the mediums, our pace on the second stint was really good. In the hard tires, Gasly couldn't match our pace. As you can see, we pulled like a 3.5-second lead over Gasly. But Perez was on mediums and he got ahead of Gasly, and he was really coming into the back of us. But unfortunately, he got kind of a Mercedes engine problem, I believe, and he was having engine difficulties, so was not really trying to attack us. But speaking of engine problems, we got a second retirement of this race in Lewis Hamilton, who was leading down from the front. He pitted in a lap earlier than Valtteri Bottas did, and he was comfortably leading this race. As you can see, his competitors, both the Ferraris, the Red Bull, and his teammate coming breathing down. And Lewis Hamilton's season is not to a great start, and one man season is off to a great start. It's Valtteri Bottas, and he finishes in P1 in this Australian Grand Prix, the first race of this career mode season, with Max Verstappen breathing down in P2, the Ferrari couple in P3 and P4, with Alex Albon finishing in P5. What a lap down Williams there. And both the Renaults, which was sandwiched by Lando Norris, finishing in P6, 7 and 8. And for us, we finished in P9, guys, which has been a really strong performance. We finished like 5-6 seconds behind the Renaults and McLarens, and we were really comfortable in holding down, probably not Perez because he had an engine difficulty, but we were really ahead of the AlphaTauris, the Alfa Romeos, and the Haas, and comfortably ahead of the Williams, I would say. So P9, and we get 2 points on the board.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Valtteri Bottas passes his rival to take over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
It's got to be Valtteri Bottas, a commanding performance that I think had the audience's eyes glued to him for the majority of the race.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Red Bull take over as championship leaders. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
So that is the end of the first race, guys. It's been a really interesting race. We finished in P9, as you can see, 37 seconds off the leader, which I could say is a really good start for us. And in terms of our teammate, it was not really good. He started in P18, I believe, and he kind of finished in P18 ahead of both Williams and ahead of Hamilton and Carlos Sainz, who got DNFs in their first races. So in terms of our race, I was really happy with the pace. The difficulty I could have improved slightly to 97 or 98, but we'll do in the next couple of races and see how we progress. So I'm really happy with the episode, guys. And if you really like this episode, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for plenty more content, and I really appreciate your support through this career mode save. So that's going to be the end of this video, guys. Until then, I'll catch you in another video soon.